Speaking of that, I'm going to kind of give you a very high overview of Purina. And we feed over 100 million pets globally every single day. And with that comes great responsibility. And so we have developed what we call our 4 promises. And our first promise is to champion safety and high quality nutrition. Secondly, we are going to continue to drive breakthrough innovations that help pets thrive. We literally invented this category with the launch of dog chow almost 100 years ago. We just had our 99th anniversary with dog chow and really revolutionized how people could feed their pets in a complete and balanced diet. And obviously, we didn't stop there. We have continued to push what nutrition can do for those pets. And we also promise to enrich the lives of pets and the people who love them, and through a number of different philanthropic endeavors to really, again, enrich those pets' lives, but also the people who take care of them. And lastly, we know we can't do all of this without taking care of Mother Earth. So that is also our 4th promise, is to help to care for the planet. You'll probably notice, if you haven't, been down a pet food aisle, I'd be surprised, but this audience probably understands that we have a very broad portfolio. And really it stems from our nutritional philosophies that excellent nutrition should be available to all dogs and cats, no matter the price point that pet parent wants to pay or can pay, that they should have excellent nutrition. So I want to make sure that that's kind of sticks in your head, as far as we use the same quality ingredients across our entire portfolio, whether it is something more economically priced like a dog chow or something at a higher price point like our veterinary therapeutic diet. It's the same quality chicken and rice and all of that goes into all of our foods. But it really is those ingredients are the way that we get nutrients into our pets. And that's where it's really critical to have the team of experts that we do at Purina designing and developing these foods that go into the bowls of our dogs and cats. Again, we know that we've got to pursue innovation. It is one of our promises, and we are relentless in our pursuit of bringing new innovations to the marketplace where nutrition can really enhance and sometimes even extend the lives of our pets. We also know that it should be fun. We all love a good night out with our friends, and that should be no different for our pets. So we want to make sure, again, that it's enjoyable, because if those first 1, 2, and 3 nutritional philosophies don't actually produce a product that is tasty and enjoyable for our dogs, it's not going to do anybody any good just sitting in the bowl. So we do have a whole team of feeding behavior experts and behavior experts in general in pet health that really helps to kind of weigh in on not only how the food should be served, but then in what form and what flavors and all of that to best serve those dogs that are eating our food. And then lastly, again, kind of feeds into why we have such a broad portfolio, is that the nutritional needs of pets are unique. And so we want to be able to have something that really can satisfy not only the needs of the pet parent who's buying it, but then also the 4-legged consumer that is eating it. I do want to call out that every ingredient in a Purina food has a purpose, and it is responsibly sourced. We work really hard, again, to make sure while we are feeding those 100 million pets across the globe, that we are doing it in a meaningful way and in a responsible way for the planet that we all live on. We do have a team of almost 500 researchers, scientists, veterinarians like myself, nutritionists, who all come together with our various strengths and areas of expertise to develop the products that wind up in the bowls of our dogs. And then lastly, because we feed that many pets across the globe, we do over 100,000 quality and safety checks in a 24-hour period. So it is, I think a lot of times it's almost, our dog food is almost safer than what happens in our human food chain. We are meticulous, knowing that we are providing the complete and balanced nutrition that these dogs need to not only live, but to thrive. We have got to make sure that that happens in the safest way possible. So quality and safety are paramount for us at Purina. When I dial down, I know we're focusing on ProPlan here, and really the belief of ProPlan is to be able to put life-changing nutrition into our pets' bowls, and that not only can change their lives, but then also can change the lives of us who interact with them on a daily basis. And so ProPlan's purpose is really to advance pet health through nutrition. So this is really where a bulk of our science, a bulk of the innovation really hits the marketplace first. And that's, again, backed by those almost 500 researchers and scientists. It then filters out into over 140 different targeted formulas. So you can get really specific with ProPlan depending on the needs of your dog or your cat. And it is our commitment to continue to bring this groundbreaking nutrition to the marketplace. So I want to, again, germane to this audience, right, talk about just real quickly the energy needs of our breeding females. It is really not until that last 3 weeks of pregnancy when their nutritional needs start to really ramp up. So that's when you should be targeting feeding about 1.5 times maintenance to help to develop those puppies on the inside. Then the lactation stage is really the most energy demanding stage of a dog's life. It usually, on average, increases their caloric requirements by about 3 times what they normally have as adults. And so providing optimal nutrition at this stage is going to be super critical. And by optimal, I'm going to talk about what that means. So that means feeding them to an ideal body condition. And this all stems from our lifespan study. I'm not going to go into super depth here, but know that we had 48 Labrador retrievers and we studied them for their lifetime in 2 groups. One group got to eat as much as they wanted, about 3 times a day. The other group was the lean fed group and got 25% fewer calories than their litter mate did the day before. And the findings were remarkable. So not only did they live 3 years longer with having less disease like arthritis and diabetes, things that are chronic conditions, but their average lifespan was about 1.8 years longer if they were lean fed. And why that's important to this particular audience is because we need them in ideal body condition for reproductive performance. You're too thin and you risk having small litters, you risk hypoglycemia for the bitch. You're overweight. We also have seen that reduces litter size, increases birthing complications, and other really negative effects. So finding that sweet spot of ideal body condition is going to help your success as a breeder. And then when we're talking on the puppy side, once these little guys come out into the world, as I say in veterinary medicine, sometimes C-sections are like the best birthday parties ever, if you have to go that route. But once these guys come out and we are trying to feed them, we know that their nutritional demands are very different than adult dogs. They need that higher level of energy because of that rapid growth. They also need higher levels of protein. Everything is growing. Their skin, their organs, their antibodies, all made of protein, all need that good quality support in a diet. We also want to make sure that their bones are developing in the right time period and the right rate. So having that proper calcium to phosphorus ratio is going to be critical. We're going to talk about DHA and the importance of fatty acids here on the next slide, but then also making sure they've got the right balance of antioxidants to help to support that developing immune system. So how do we know? I think it's pretty commonplace. Most people know that you should have DHA and EPA in a puppy food, but it was actually some Purina science discovered, more than 20 years ago that really showcased how this makes a difference. So these long-chain fatty acids that come from fish, really important that they are a marine source omega-3 fatty acid that help with that brain and vision development. And we had puppies that were either group that was supplemented with DHA and those that were not. And we studied them with little different brain games and learning cognitive testing and things like that from age 8 weeks of age to 18 weeks of age. And what we saw were the guys that had the diet that was supplemented with those omega-3s were actually able to navigate that maze more quickly. They scored higher on cognitive tests, and again, helped to bring to life that DHA is super critical in our growing puppies. Again, no surprise here, but ProPlan has, because of its specialization as a brand, has many different formulas that can provide the growth nutrition depending on the needs of the dog. Everything from, just your average puppy nutrition to large breed puppy where we want them to grow more slowly. If you have puppies with sensitive systems, we also have something to address that as well, and everything in between. So our ProPlan puppy food, again, is going to have that DHA in there for that brain and vision development, the antioxidants to support their immune system. It's going to have some really high quality nutrition. Just a fun fact that ProPlan was actually the first brand to ever have real meat as the #1 ingredient. So we kind of created that whole trend in the marketplace, all again based on making sure we're providing high quality protein to support their growing bodies. This is another formula that I know is quite popular both in the show world as well as in the sporting dog world. I personally feed this to my own dogs, and I love our 30/20 performance sport formula for a number of reasons. One, it's all life stages. So for those of you who love to get nerdy about science, this QR code will take you to ASCO's website and can walk you through how we get the claim of all life stages. But that's one of the things that is really paramount to the ProPlan brand is we do animal feeding tests in order to get our ASCO claim. So we feed it to groups of animals. We don't just formulate it to meet a certain profile. And what I love about sport is it's been fed to puppies for growth, which is from 8 weeks of age till 18 weeks of age. Then we have to feed it to a group of puppies for maintenance, which is a 6-month study with adult dogs. And then we also have to feed it for gestation and lactation. And ASCO has different checkpoints along certain test protocols that are set up when you're doing these animal feeding tests. And if it passes all of that, then we can say it is appropriate for all life stages based on animal feeding tests. And so again, I like this from the standpoint of when I had Finn, my Labrador, and Journey was a rapidly growing puppy, we could feed them both the same diet, very convenient for my husband, who is not a dog expert by any stretch of the imagination. And so I like to keep that nice and simple for him when I'm traveling for work, but then also peace of mind of knowing I'm providing both what Finn needs as an adult dog and what Journey needs as a growing puppy. I also love that it is a very, what I like to say, nutrient dense or power packed kibble. So when we think about what happens in the later stages of gestation, when the poor, the poor bitch's stomach is probably the size of a cherry, but yet she's trying to grow a lot of puppies on the inside. And maybe we can only eat small quantities of food for multiple meals. This is a great way of being able to get some nutrient-dense, life stage appropriate nutrition into them, knowing you're supporting her and her growing puppies. Also, I love to share more knowledge because I know I'm obviously biased. I work for Purina and have for almost 2 decades. So these are some really helpful tools, whether you have it for you or you share it with your potential pet parents. One is the body condition score chart so that they can learn and you can learn what does ideal body condition look like and feel like. And then the other one is the fecal score chart. You are aiming for a #2 for your #2 of your dog. And so again, that helps, that #2 really helps us to understand that they are absorbing the nutrients how they should. Their hydration level is good, and that diet is agreeing with their bodies in the best of ways. And then lastly, if you want to nerd out more on nutrition before I kick it back over to Sarah, these are some other really great nutritional resources. I love the Pet Foodology that's run by Tufts Veterinary School and has wonderful information on it that is consumer language friendly. So you can share it with either, the homes of your puppies. You can, again, nerd out on it yourself. The QR code there will take you to purinainstitute.com, where there is all of the published research around nutrition that we have done or that we have collaborated with, because we truly believe that science is more powerful when shared. And so there's great resources on there, everything from puppy nutrition to healthy aging and GI microbiome health and all things in between. So with that, I will say thank you. And I think I'm turning it back over to Sarah, but you've got some slides, or somebody has some slides right after
You
mine.
you've got some slides for me. I have to say
Yep.
I love pet foodology. It's one of my favorite ones. I send so many of those to my own puppy families. I love throwing
Yep.
science at them. All right. Thanks, Doctor.
Yes.
Thanks, Dr. RuthAnn. We really appreciate you joining us today. I know that so much goes on behind the scenes with our global research team, so it's nice to give a peek into that to all of our viewers today. I just wanted to let everyone know that the Pro Club Breeder Loyalty Program offers some awesome puppy go home kits, which are pictured on the screen here. For every new pet owner, which includes a coupon for a free full size small bag of ProPlan puppy or all ages, a box of Fortiflora powdered probiotic, and a coupon for 3 free cans of ProPlan puppy food. Pictured there. Next slide, please. And then, new to Pro Club Canada this year, we've launched a platinum tier for responsible breeders who upload their breed specific health testing. We provide a $70 breeder credit for each new puppy owner referral to spend on future Pro Plan purchases. Breeders can save on ProPlan, including 35% off bulk breeder delivery. You can visit purina.ca/ProClubDog to learn more. Or if you opted in to hear from a ProPlan rep, that's me, and you'll hear from me later this week. And I'd be happy to offer you a couple of coupons to try some ProPlan for your dogs.